everybody. So let's look at your note sheet. Remember that cute little yellow circle that you had? Here is a picture of one that is completely done. So there are some things that I want you to add into it. You should have just listened to the video of the song and you should have filled in all of the lyrics for that. So after you have that piece, then I want you to go back to this circle and I want you to put in the area. Do you see how the circle, I colored it all in? So I want you to find a highlighter, find a colored pencil, find something so that you can color the area in, because the area is the amount of space covered up by the circle. The way that you find that is by doing pi r squared. And so we'll go through a couple of examples so you can figure out what that looks like. Then this one over here, you should just have an empty circle, and you see how I've written circumference, circumference, circumference all the way around it. And the way that we find circumference is 2 pi r, which that song is a great way to start memorizing formulas, or you can think of a different way to memorize it if you want to. 2 pi r is usually how we remember it, but 2 times the radius, if you put your arms out into a radius and you did 2 of them, what do you get? You get the diameter. So 2 pi r is generally what I'll use as a formula, but if you start with the diameter, you don't necessarily, for circumference, have to change it into the radius. For area, you for sure have to change it in the radius, but circumference, you could choose to keep it there if you wanted to. So pause this if you need to, and get your circle filled out well. Once you have that done, so again, pause it if you need to, find the sheet that I gave you that has the lyrics on the back, and then you're going to start right here. So it says circle, circumference, and area. And I want to know what is the formula for area. And so you're going to think, roll with it. No, I'm not scared. So we're going to go, the area is pi r squared. Then what's the formula for circumference? Totally different. Circumference, you can see me spinning on a car. Circumference is 2 pi r. Right. Now, if they don't give you the radius, if they start with the diameter, you're welcome to just use that. In my examples, I'm going to use the radius way. But you can also say that circumference is also just pi times the diameter, because your 2 times radius is the diameter, and the commutative property says you can multiply in any order you want. So let's go through and check. D, diameter equals how many radiuses, or radii is really the appropriate way to say that. So 2 radii equals a diameter. So let's go through. You should have a calculator next to your iPad. You can use a calculating device. Just make sure you're not texting other people with it. So let's count through. It says radius is 5 inches. That's what it tells me. So then, if that's true, what's my diameter? Well, stick one arm out. That's 5. So put up a diameter. That gives you 10. You have to label it. So 10 inches. Then area. When you actually go in and do your home fun, one side is all circumference, one side is all area. So I want you to take your time and figure out which one you want to do. All right? So here's what I see. I see area. Let's find that. Well, area is pi r squared. So I'm going to show my work over here. Area equals pi r squared. If that's the case, well, pi, we're going to use 3.14, so I can type that in, and then the radius is 5. 5 squared really means 5 times 5. You might have just known that r squared is 25, that 5 squared is 25. So you're going to take in, and in your calculator, you're just going to type in 3.14 times 5 times 5. And when you do that, what do you get? Right, you get 78.5. It is really important that you're actually putting these numbers into your own calculator to see if you can find it. So if I'm going too fast, press pause and solve it, but make sure you see what's going on with that. Now, because it's areas, I've got inches, inches what? Yeah, inches squared. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to find circumference. So if I look at circumference, that has a very different formula. You can see me spinning in a car. Circumference is 2 pi r. Excellent. So grab that. Circumference equals 2 pi, 2 pi r. So 2 times pi times the radius. In this case, because my radius is 5, in my calculator I'm going to type 2 times 3.14 times 5. So if I do that, type that in, see what you get. Yeah, you should get 31.4. And this is just flat inches. Now some people might say, hey, couldn't I do 2 times 5 first? That's 10 times 3.14, and the answer is yes. If your brain sees that I can just multiply these two numbers before I multiply the 3.14, then by all means, please do that. If you just need to follow the rule for a while and do it in the exact order the formula says, then have at it and do it that way if that makes you more comfortable. Let's move over to the next one. Oh man, this one is going in a little different order. They only give me the circumference. Well, I know that circumference equals 2 pi r. And what I'm trying to find is this r right here. This is what I've got to find. And I already know that the circumference is 314. So if the 314 is over here, how do I go backwards from these things? How do I undo 2 times pi times the radius? Yeah, I'm actually going to divide. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 314. I'm going to divide by 2. And then I'm going to divide by 3.14. When you do that, you should come out with a nice little radius. What do you come out with? 50. You come out with 50 and it's feet. Now, if you have 50 feet, can you find the diameter? Yes, because one arm is 50 feet. The other, put your other arm up, you've got the diameter. So now you're at 100 feet. And then my area. So in order to find my area, now I can go back. My area is pi r squared. If my radius is 50, I really do 3.14 times 50 squared, or 50 times 50, not 50 times 2, 50 squared. So 50 times 50, and when I do that, I get 7,850. Wow, that's a bunch. And that's going to be feet squared because it's area. So right now I want you to pause the video. I want you to try to do these next two on your own, and let's see. Actually, I'm going to have you stop. Take number 6, and I want you to get rid of number 6 for now. We're not going to worry about number 6 on your notes. Let's not worry about that. Let's take number 7. So 7 gives me the diameter. I want you to stop, try this one on your own, and I'm going to keep talking, so make sure you pause. If the diameter is 12, then my radius is 6. If my radius is 6, then here I'm going to do pi times 6 squared, so 6 times 6. When you put in 3.14 times 6 times 6, I get 113.04, and what's my label? Centimeters squared. For your circumference, hopefully you've already gotten that. If you know your radius is 6, you know it's 2 pi times the radius. So 2 times pi times the radius, and you're going to get 37.68. And that's going to be in centimeters. Did you get it? If you didn't, make sure you ask someone next to you, how did you do this? Could you figure it out? Find an adult, find a proctor, find somebody to help you out. Then let's see. Jack orders a pizza with 20-inch diameter for a party. What is the length of each slice? So picture a pizza. if the diameter is like this, then even if I just cut it here, what's the length of each slice? Well, if it's 20 all the way across, it's going to be 10 inches for the length of that slice. So then what's the area of the whole pizza? Well, this right here is your radius. Area is pi r squared. So what are you going to do? Pause it if you need to, or quick go through it yourself. 3.14 times 10 times 10 gives you 314 watts. 314 inches squared. Each person wants a slice of pizza that's at least 36 square inches. What's the greatest number of pizza slices Jack can cut? Well, what are you going to do? Cut it into pieces of 36. So 314 divided by 36. And when I do that, does it come out nicely? Not really. So you can't have 9 slices because then the people wouldn't get big enough. So what are you going to do? So 8 slices is what we're going to end up with. So your job, once you have this, you're going to go find an adult and you're going to get the worksheet for the day. One side is circumference, one side is area. So go through, figure that out, and away we go. I'll see you tomorrow.